imagine a life without fear, stress, or worry? In today's day and age, we're almost constantly being bombarded with waves of information, and it's not typically life-giving news. But today, I want us to put our fear in check. God has quite a bit to say about fear, which makes sense because he knows how often we face it. Matthew 10:28, Jesus says to his disciples, "Do not be afraid of those who kill the body but cannot kill the soul. Rather, be afraid of the one who can kill both body and soul in hell." And these words are in red, which means they're important. Jesus was sending out his 12 disciples when he said this, giving them the authority to drive out impure spirits and heal every disease and sickness, just as he could. I can only imagine being in the room that day. It might have even been a little scary. But Jesus has given us the same authority. I think sometimes we just forget. The takeaway I'm using for this message is this: fear God, and you need not fear anything else or anyone else. Or in exchange, have reverence for God's power and control over everything in the end. And what then do we really have to fear? You see, I think we're allowed to acknowledge that an opposition we're facing may typically bring fear, but we are called to be radically different, just as Jesus was. Even on the night he knew the crowds would be coming to arrest him, he fell with his face to the ground and prayed, "My Father, if it is possible, may this cup be taken from me, yet not as I will, but as you will." So to me, when fear and stress and worry present themselves, we have a choice to say yes or no. A word from my devotional by Nikki Gumbel, that was the inspiration behind this message, said, "Do not be afraid about what to say. Do not be afraid of what others will do to you. Do not be afraid of what will happen to you. Reverence for all God is puts into perspective the things of this earth." So today, I want you to not only examine the things in your life that bring you fear, I want you to search for a biblical response to them that fits your personality. Maybe this looks like building up a storehouse of verses in your heart that you can refer to in a moment's notice, which really, this is something we should all be doing, always. Or maybe it's coming up with a series of questions to ask yourself until your perspective shifts and the peace of God settles your soul. The options don't end here, but regardless of what you come up with, the difference it can make to say no to fear in your life remains the same. It changes everything. We don't have to live in fear. Our fear may be profitable to the enemy, and our fear may be profitable to the evildoers of this earth. But let us not forget just who our God is, how powerful our God is, how he has promised us that he will make everything right in the end, and that we will never be forsaken. Living with that truth and letting it set the stage for how we will handle fear in our life is worth all the work it might take to instill these habits, and then some. I don't know about you, but I am in no position to question whether or not God's promises are true. Matter of fact, I think I've read that story and I don't want to be in it. The enemy is living and active every day, trying to make a playground of your life. But whether or not you let him do it is completely up to you. Don't leave this message here. Make an action plan to incorporate godly decision making with an eternal perspective into your daily life. I'll leave you with this familiar truth from Philippians 4, verses 6 through 7. Do not be anxious about anything, But in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God, and the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. Key words: prayer and petition. Lean on God to help you navigate this life until one day when we can rejoice with Him in eternity.